Maybe for this today's book club, we start a new article from the book Vedanta in Practice, Spiritual Unfoldment by Pravrajika Ajayaprana Mataji. Today's article is Secret of Success.
Sorry, everybody, just having a problem here. I'm not sure why it's not doing what I need it to do. Let's try it. I've got everything right here. No, okay, I'll work it out this time. That's it. Okay, sorry about that. We are ready to go now. So the introduction. Success is usually defined as accomplishing an aim or a favorable outcome, attaining wealth, fame, or position, or a thing or a person that turns out well. Usually, when we launch a program of work or activity that delivers the desired result, we generally accept it as a successful enterprise. But let us examine this a little deeper. Which stress shall I choose? In 2000, with the Olympic Games staged in Sydney, an interesting article appeared in the Sydney Morning Herald posed the question, decisions, which stress shall I choose today? According to the writer, every day, many choices line up before us that lead to stress. The article goes on to say, whatever else we may think about ourselves, we are convinced of one thing, and that is, we are the most stressed out generation in the history of mankind. Odd we should think so, at least in the West. We have never been more prosperous, more comfortable, or better served by technology. The tasks that were once arduous or irksome are now carried out swiftly and efficiently by machines. In every walk of life, things are easier than they used to be. Nowadays, people complain that in the past, they could take their time doing things, but now they're always in a rush. Why do we believe ourselves to be under such extraordinary stress? Most people say it is because of the acceleration of life, but this writer disagrees with that. Just because we can do things quicker, it does not mean that we have to live life at a frantic pace.
So everybody's in a rush now, always rushing from one action to another, one work to another, one place to another. And we say we are trying to catch up with things. We try to catch up with things, but things are going away from us. The more we run after things, the further we are away from them. It's very hard. So what if we take a slower pace? This world is not going to end. We may miss the particular train, In 15 minutes, the next train will be coming, or we miss the bus, the next bus will be coming. You miss the traffic light. Within a few minutes, the next the light will change again. But what's the rush? Always rushing, rushing, rushing. And this rushing is causing a lot of, as the article says, stress. And also mistakes. We make mistakes when we are rushing. When we do things a bit slowly, there's less chance of making mistakes, less chance of accidents. That rushing just only is a, what to say, it's a sign of our restlessness of the mind. Our mind is restless, so we are rushing. The mind is running. So we are running with that. If the mind is calmer, then we will be able to finish all the work, even if you're doing it a bit slowly, because there's less chance of making mistakes. We'll be doing with concentration. We rush and make mistakes and then spend more time correcting that. Rather do slowly and do correctly, perfectly. And that is restlessness of the mind is one of the things that make us fail in our attempts in doing things. And we just simply complain, trying to put the blame on, for our mistake, for our restlessness of the mind, we try to blame other people. Because I had to meet the deadline. Because I had to catch the train, I had to catch the bus, because the train, the light will change. So I had to rush, go through red light and then pay a big hefty fine. 5 minutes late, doesn't matter. No. Or go and have an accident. There's no need for this rushing. There's no need for this frantic pace. Sometimes, often when I see the cars going at great over the limit, speed limit, often sometimes I feel, are they in the story that Swami Yatishiranda gives in the meditation and spiritual life? There's a story about the Sultan of Persia. He was in the garden and his favorite attendant came rushing to him, saying that he had to go to Damascus from Baghdad. So the Sultan asked, why? Oh, he said, I was in the garden and I saw death coming to catch me. So I had to go to Damascus. And I want to take your fastest horse. Sultan's favorite servant, all right, take. And the servant took the horse and went to Damascus. The Sultan went out to the garden and saw Death still there. So he asked Death, why did you frighten my servant? No, I didn't do anything. I was supposed to meet him in Damascus. And I saw him still in Baghdad, so I was so surprised. So I just threw my hands up in surprise. So the servant, the man has gone to Damascus to meet Death. So often I think, are these people trying to go to Damascus when they're going so speed? What's the hurry? Overtaking. And sometimes when you're on the highway, you can see zigzag from one lane to another just to overtake. And then we catch up with them at the lights again. So that shows the restlessness of the mind. Because they are so restless, they think that, oh, running like this, they can catch up with things. No, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, so this writer's saying, whatever else we may think about ourselves, we are convinced that we're in the most stressed out generation in the history of mankind. Now, there is some truth to that, because when you look up you do a little research, the average thoughts a day range from anything from 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day pass through our mind. You know? Hmm?
Can't hear you.
Was, oh. Okay.
Hmm.
How's that now? Okay. Yeah. So they say the average thoughts a day can be anything from 12 to 60,000. The average decisions a day can be anything from 33 to 35,000. So, and we're kind of compelled because we're living in a more developed and, well, physically, amenity-wise sophisticated world. So I'm wondering, I'm kind of challenging the writer that generates stress. We are compelled to think so many more thoughts, to make so many more decisions just to get by in our daily life. So I'm
But
wondering.
don't we have a choice not to make so many decisions? See, in the morning you get up, you had to decide what clothes to wear. So many sets are there. If you do like who was the President Barack Obama, he had all the clothes, all the suits in the same color, so he doesn't have to worry thinking about what to wear. You spend so much time because of so much of choice. Who made that? You yourself made it. We have to got the choice to cut down our things, and that will give us great freedom, a lot of freedom from so much of choice to choose from.
No, well, no, it's from 12 to 60,000. So not all.
Thoughts. 12,000.
Anna, if I am an administrator, many lives depend upon me and my decision, agreeable. But ordinary people, how much after all, how many thoughts will you think? How many decisions can you make? I don't think so. Just because some scientist has said we needn't have to take it as a Vedavakya. It's
But
not
then
a sentence of a Vedas.
that shows the restlessness of the mind, because we are jumping from one thought to another. Whatever we have read, we have heard, whatever whomsoever we have met, we on and on thinking about all those things. So it shows how restless our mind is. So we have got a choice. We have got a choice to reduce the number of choices to make and reduce the number of thoughts. It's up to us. We don't have to go with the flow just like sheep. Follow everybody, but because everybody is doing that, everybody is thinking like this. We don't have to do that. We can think outside the box. But then what will people say? Let them say. You must be brave. Otherwise, you are just following like sheep. There's no individual thinking.
What would be the way of reducing the number of thoughts?
When you are alert, if you can remain alert and be aware of the thoughts that you're coming into mind, then we can. So these are the thoughts. Well, these I don't have to think about them. And if you don't pay attention to that particular thought, any particular thought, when it comes again and again, if you don't pay attention to that, then slowly it will fade away.
So just through observing, you reduce the number of thoughts.
It takes time, but that's the one of the ways.
Oh, I've got a little bit of a problem at the moment because my grandson comes up to our place and looks at the screen, and there's YouTube and shorts, and there are a number of different ideas being pumped out every hour, and he's sitting there glued to the screen. He's not doing anything else but having all these thoughts that other people are putting on him.
Yeah,
He really needs to put it to one side and sit calmly. And there's very little you can do about it. You can't tell him.
and what we have to concentrate, the mind needs something to hold on to. So instead of having shots for 2 minutes or a few seconds, at least then if we can put on him for one thing continuously,
Like a movie or something like
Yeah,
that.
something
that's
like
got a
that.
theme.
one particular theme, then the mind will be around that particular theme only instead of flitting from one idea to another idea.
Isn't it a fact that, you know, if you're super stressed or grieving or going through a particularly bad time, the mind is really racing
Yeah,
a lot more as to when you're leveled out or living a reasonably meditative life. So the thought process, your mind jumps all over the shop.
yeah, that's why because the mind is restless, stressed. When the mind is calm, then there will be less thoughts will be there.
Was given the microphone, but as you are listening to stress and thoughts, what comes to me is that you're really under stress, you're thinking much more. And the reason why you're thinking and having so much thoughts is to actually reduce the number of thoughts, you know? So it's like a cycle, you know, you're having so much thoughts to try and reduce the number of thoughts and bring some peace, but then this can be a vicious cycle as well.
What's that? I didn't follow. Reduce the number of thoughts?
Like sometimes, you know, when you're stressed, what you're trying to do is find a solution. So in that process of trying to find a solution, you actually have generating more thoughts than you normally would, you know, so until you find that solution, when you find a solution, your mind naturally tends to be much calmer after that. So it seems like the reason why you're sometimes having more thoughts is to actually try and reduce the number of thoughts.
But that finding solution for a particular problem and having more thoughts is only a temporary a thing. It won't be continuing the whole day or all time.
Depends on the severity of the problem. And
Yes.
Yeah, it's reminding me back in the 60s and 70s, when there was a bit of a revolution through the Western world, one of the ideas that the young people came up with in their idealistic way, there was a movement called voluntary simplicity. And they went back to wanting to go back to living a simpler life, more self-sufficiency, and minimizing your possessions. But I guess what they found was the self-sufficiency part's pretty hard work. You know, growing all your own vegetables and fruits and so on. Anyway, so I think it's still there, but not so prevalent now. Anyway, that's just something there was an attempt on a pretty big scale to try to find another way.
On this point, Gayatri Pranaji, day before yesterday or so, there was a news item where they've had a competition where what the young people are trying to do is actually stop thinking. It's a competition of doing nothing where people sit and the best at doing nothing wins, you see, for an hour. So these people have to sit still, not think or not watch anything. And it's all about trying to still their minds. And it was started in South Korea. So what Robert said is also somewhat coming up again. So it's funny in the sense that people who are who the winners are the ones who did nothing for the longest time, you see. So,
See, things go in cycles. So earlier days, things were simple life. Then in the name of progress, all these things have happened. Industrial revolution, then technology progress. We thought, oh, we are getting all comforts. Of physical comforts came, with that came the mental problems, psychological problems. Now we have got, compared to earlier days, much greater number of mental problems. And then slowly it will come again, the cycle will come back to more similar life. It goes in cycles. So that's a good experiment. Competition, sit quietly. Who can sit quietly for a longer time without, mind will be racing, but still the body is sitting still, that automatically have effect on the mind. That is why we are asked to sit for meditation. We are sitting for meditation. We are not meditating. We are sitting, that's all. Real meditation, who is going to have? I don't think any of us have got them. We are trying to meditate. We are sitting for meditation. That's the truth. We are sitting quietly. The body is kept quiet. That's the first stage. That's the first step. Yeah, that's good to make the children sit quietly. It's a wonderful idea. And because they're going to the competition, they will try their best to sit quietly without moving.
By the way, those joining us via Zoom, I've got the settings open for you. You can ask questions at any stage. But if there aren't any more questions, we might move on. So, continuing this.
Julia's.
Oh, sorry.
I listened to a podcast the other day about the Chinese journalist that was held in China for nearly 3 years. She had to sit in a seat with 2 guards either side of her, couldn't talk or do anything. For 15 minutes she could stand. They watched her do what she had to do. How she survived that without going crazy? She was interviewed and without going mental, and how she managed her mind through that period. That's amazing control,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
For
See, when Aravinda Ghosh, who was a revolutionary during the independent movement time, the British were going to arrest him and he escaped. From there he went to the French area in Pondicherry. And before that, he was in jail and like solitary confinement. So these people, if you have got some high ideal, that instead of taking it in the wrong way, it's our mind which is deciding which way you want to go. You can use it in the best way. It's a wonderful time. I can think about higher things, higher ideals, no disturbance. When you are in the world, you have to deal with other people. You are solitary confinement. They bring you food, you are sit there, you are left alone to yourself. So you can think of higher ideals. This lady may be having some ideals like that. That keeps her serene and keep her sane. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll become like the character in The Tale of Two Cities, where the French doctor put in solitary confinement. He becomes just a number. Lost all your identity, who you are. But if you have a higher ideal, then you can keep yourself sane. So making the children sitting quietly, it's a wonderful idea. Then slowly put the next step is putting some high ideals to hold on to.
I was listening to an ABC program on Mary Somerville from the last century, and she was a famous mathematician, and she studied the movement of the planets, and she wrote a big book about the whole thing. And her husband, I think it was her husband, thought she was using the candles too much at night to study the book she had. And so he took the candles away, and she could only stay in a dark room and imagine or think about all the formulas that she had looked at during the day. And just shows you that she was pursuing a goal and she wasn't going to be stopped.
All right, so move on to the next slide. So, as we've been touching on, too many options. New tech, well, it's just a chat there, Rick, not a question, but a comment. This rushing is partially due to the rise of the corporation. At MBA school, two major things are taught to the would-be managers. One is how to make more money. The second is how to make people work harder. Hence, people are pushed to rush. Even toilet breaks at times when one works on computer. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Not easy to go against the flow. Yeah, so too many options. New technology helps us to be lazy if we so desire. Sitting in a rocking chair and browsing through digital television stations, we only need to stir ourselves to order food via home delivery over the internet from a supermarket chain. Suppose we are under more stress than previous generations. We only feel more stressed because we have too many choices. In that case, I don't blame computers or other forms of new technology. Unprecedented advertising and promotion present us with too many options, more than we can afford or find the time for, causing anxiety because the mind runs after these.
Just like the children always looking at the phone because they're afraid they may miss something. The fear of missing out. Everybody is having my friends are having the fun, I may miss out. So I have to keep up with them. We can step back if we want to, but we must be brave enough to make the choice.
I find a lot of young people tending to check their phone all the time.
Yeah.
Even when they're sitting around, they can't sit quietly. They have to check in case they miss something, a message or something like that. When we didn't have the phone, we had nothing to check. It's true.
Yeah, see, and it has become habit. And what is habit? Habit is repeated action. If there's stop that, we can always cultivate different habit. So of course, for children to have the different habit cultivate, the parents have to start with that. If parents are checking the phone all the time, what can you expect from the children? And sitting around the dining table, everybody is on their own mobile phone, go on checking. The father and mother are doing on the phone and they asking the children not to have the phone. You can't do that. First, you have to set up the example. And your behavior speaks louder than the words. Action speaks louder than words.
In certain homes, no phone is allowed on the dining table. Even, yeah, the phones, nobody is allowed to have the phone. It's in a bedroom with the door closed. So even if they ring, if the friend is desperate, they'll try to ring again anyway.
Yes.
So you won't miss out. So
And now schools are bringing up the idea of keeping the phone locking once you come to school,
that's right.
which is a good thing. When we had the teens retreat last year, I was telling somebody that, oh, when I'm going to take their phone away, then she told me, oh, Maharaji, please don't tell them early, because phone is part of it's a limb, extended limb of the children. So if you say that you'll take the phone away from them, they may not come for the retreat. But they were quite happy. They just accepted it. Keep all the phone in the one box. They were ready to do that. Because now I think in schools they are starting it. So it's good.
Yeah, apart from FOMO, fear of missing out, there's also, I think we would all find this, the fear of not making the best choice when you have a lot of choices. I think that creates a lot of stress in people whenever you're going to make some big, especially some big decision, and there's a lot of things to choose from. And you're going through all the pros and cons, that's something that really creates stress for people.
See, there's advertisements increase that. Each advertisement shows that it's the best product. So you get confused. And then even if you don't need it, you feel that you're obliged to buy it because it's so good. When it comes to your house, it's not so good. And when you see you're paying by the card, so you don't know how much your money actually you're not paying. You hand out cash, then you feel more. You're paying by card, it doesn't feel. Only when the bank balance, the statement comes in, you see, oh, your bank balance has gone down. Yes, because
Well, the other thing under this is, because we've got all these options, also there's this rising expectation of what life can offer us. And I don't think it's apocryphal. I remember there was an incident where a group of tourists in somewhere, they've gone somewhere in Europe, and I'm not going to say what nationality they are, but they had such high expectations of one part of the tour that it didn't meet their expectations, this place, some fabled city in Europe. And yet they had imagined it to be something more than that. And the poor tour operator had to pacify them, because and yet they were in this amazing place. And yet they'd built up in their minds, and maybe the way it was sold to them, they'd imagined something else.
yeah.
And there was all this disappointment and a bit of rebellion, and the tour operator was in a bit of trouble. And yet it was, I'm forgetting exactly where it was, but it's one of these major fabled cities in Europe.
Yeah,
And it
because
wasn't matching what they believed it would be.
the advertisement will be there. They will be giving on the tour, their tour guide, how wonderful it is. The choice of a trip of a lifetime and all those things. And you build up the expectation. The same with all the goods also. And anything that you in the shop, you can see this is the best thing, and you'll be happy forever. Only how long that happiness lasts, maybe by the time you put it in your car or bring it home.
Yeah, they've got this thing, it's called hedonic adaptation, where we can very easily, after the initial excitement or novelty of something, we become very used to it. It doesn't have that same magic. And I've experienced that when getting back to the holiday thing, where after you've seen a few castles, a few cathedrals, the next cathedral you go to just can't quite have the magic of the very first cathedral you saw. It's all a little bit similar. So I've struggled with that.
That may be the same perhaps with the people who come to a Vedanta hall. The first time all have wonderful idea, then after some time get used to it. The same thing repeating. Maybe, I don't know. But this is different here. This is you have to practice in life. We don't give any shortcut or quick fix, instant, nothing. And we say you have to practice hard practice. And success is only through hard practice in any field. All the more so in spiritual life, no.
I just wanted to, when you talked about choices and options, about how people want more choices, but I remember reading a couple of years back about an experiment where they were trying to sell jam. So in one experiment, they had 10 different varieties of jam. And then what they also did was that in the other series of experiments, they just had 3 varieties of jams. And what they found was when they had 3 varieties, they'd sold more than actually when they had 10, because of the fact that it was easier to make a choice about what you wanted.
Yes.
And so just goes to show sometimes having too many options is fairly confusing, and sometimes just having a yeah.
Just see, Bandana, you got your hand up. Go ahead, Bandana. Hello, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Actually, I have internet problems, so for last few days, not able to display the video. Now, what I was going to say, mentioned about seeing church in Europe. Castle didn't make much difference when I was visiting years ago, but somehow all the churches I visited, it actually gave me very newness everywhere. Maybe because my knowledge on Christianity was very little. And when I was hearing from the guide what happened in this church, maybe how it was formed, or later in the years, what happened to the Pope, or all those things. It created not only interest, actually it inspired me a lot. So it could be, if we are curious on something, then we will gain out of it. But had I gone with the view that all my friends have visited, I should also put a tick in my box, then probably I would not have had this kind of experience. So not for the castles, but for all the churches. And I don't know how many churches we visited. I really loved them all. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thanks, Bandana. No, but what I'm referring to is there is a very special, the first time you come across something like that, something quite extraordinary, these ancient cathedrals and castles, but there is a certain awe when you first see something like that. And I'm aware, I never quite get that initial feeling back to the same extent. Yeah. In a there's a comment here from Vin regarding choice. Large supermarkets know that we can feel inhibited and overwhelmed by having too many choices. Hence, they reduce the number of options. Think of the selection of breakfast cereals at Colesworth, and think of all the other choices available at smaller supermarkets and grocery stores. The large supermarkets deliberately do not provide all the cereal options available, despite probably having the power to do so. Yeah.
You mean that's in economics where we studied the satisfaction reduces as we consume. The first you consume a sweet or a fruit, whatever, it gives the greatest satisfaction. Oh, wonderful. I would love to have this every day. After 4 or 5 days, the satisfaction reduces. It's a law of nature. So naturally, you're seeing the first castle, wonderful something. And it's the same old thing, same, not much difference. This satisfaction, it reduces. It's natural for anything. That is why India has so much of diversity. One temple is not like another one. Entirely different. The vibration is also different. So you have got something unique, new experience in every bit of it. You go to Shaiva's temple, then you go to Vaishnava temple. Both are entirely different. The vibrations are so different. The temple design is different. Each state has a different type of design. So naturally, everything becomes new. That's the good thing about diversity. Anyway.
Yes, Bandana, well, you got another comment or question? Your hand is still up.
No, sorry.
Okay.
I haven't lowered my hand. Okay.
Feedback today.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Fine.
Thank-
All right. Thanks, Bandana. Yeah. So maybe we move on. Time's going. The problems of success. Most human beings are greedy and competitive and wish to enjoy all the best things that life can offer, or as much as their neighbors enjoy. We don't discriminate. So I'm just playing around with controls here. We don't discriminate whether an item is needed or not. Can we change our cars or televisions or computers every day? Can we take dozens of foreign holidays each year? No, it is impossible. But many would like to do so, which drives them mad because life is too short and there's not enough time for everything. They are suffering from what Sir Edward Heath, the former British Prime Minister, famously called the problems of success. We have all kinds of amenities, but along with that, stress.
Too many things, so it causes stress. I want to enjoy everything.
If you are materialistic, then it might cause you stress. But if you're not, I mean, there's so much to know about in the world. You read, you're interested in practicing like meditation and things like that. Your interest won't be based just on material things.
And also your interest is, the number of things you are interested in is less.
That's right.
Few things where you concentrate. So that there'll be less stress.
Yeah.
But here, they want to enjoy everything, they want to have everything. And then you find that time, the resources are available to you to enjoy all those things are less, so you get stressed out. Even if you have got a very good car, your neighbor has got a better car, so unhappy. Not enjoying your good car, you are envying the neighbor's car. You are living in the neighbor's, going in the neighbor's car mentally. So you get stressed. As far as physical things are concerned, to a great extent, if you have got enough, then you should have contentment. Otherwise, it's an ongoing process of stress and discontentment, which is going to, in the long run, will harm you. Your mind is affected, and that will affect the body. So, as far as physical things, of course, you need all the things for a comfortable life. If you have got that, then be content with that, instead of going to achieve more and more in every field. But Swami Brahmananda says, don't be contented with your state in spiritual life. If you are happy with your present state of spiritual life, that's very bad, because we haven't even actually started on the spiritual path. We haven't even taken the first step. We have only lifted the foot, haven't put it down. according to Swami Brahmananda, we start on the spiritual life after attaining samadhi, after attaining the state of samadhi. So nobody can say we are on the spiritual path. We are planning to go, and we have just maybe lifted the first foot. That's all. We haven't put it down. It's a long way for us to go.
Oh, by the time I take it, I forget. That's true. The problem with the person, modern man, is not that the worry that he might miss or he might not have his morning breakfast, but that he cannot outshine his neighbor. That's the problem. Most of them is the problem. Outshining the neighbor. This is more. So naturally, you have to pay for it. That is stress. This is one thing. And another thing is just a small story from Buddha's life. You know the famous Angulimala, the robber who used to cut the nails and make a garland of it and then go around. He was a highway robber. So one day he was, all the chain, the garland was rotting. New, fresh fingers were not available. So he was thinking, what's happening? No one is coming. And to his good luck, poor Buddha came. So Buddha was walking, and there I found at last one human being coming. So he ran, stop, stop. He started screaming to the top. He was standing at the top and seeing on the valley if anyone was walking. So he said, stop, stop there. Buddha steadily kept on walking. And then he came running and he said, how dare you walk? I'm telling you to stop. And yet don't you know who I am? Buddha said, I have already stopped. It's you who are still running. I have stopped. It's you who are running. Means I have come to a steadiness. I have understood and I have taken on a firm hold. I'm having a steady hold on something which is steady. But you are the one who are running, which is not stable. So until and unless even intellectually the modern man finds something stable, he has to, because modern man takes so much pride in his intellect, in his reasoning, so he has to discern it better. He has to think, pause a while and think, is it so important? This rat race? Is it? He need to be, if he has to prove that he is an intellectual person, highly intelligent, he can manipulate and all that. First, he has to manipulate himself. He has to understand. Then he will know how, no, there's something wrong with me. And he will think of putting a restraint. Another one funny example I'm giving you in the life of Vigyanand Maharaj. He once, that's...
He is the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vijnananda.
That king who gave up the throne, Queen Elizabeth's father's brother, uncle. The one in the UK kingdom he gave up, no? What's that man's name? That's
the
Prince.
King Edward,
Prince
Edward, who
Edward.
abdicated.
So the next day it came in the paper. The Swami said to one of a monk who came to do pranam, see, the king has given up
Not king, prince.
Prince has given up the kingdom. So today you have no food for you. You have to fast. You have to give up our food. You are so surprised if he gives up kingdom. Why should I? See, he has given up such a big kingdom. Can't you give up your food for one day? Of course, the monk agreed. Then the Swami said, giving up of anything is something good. Today, this king, this prince has given up the kingdom for the sake of a woman. Tomorrow he may give up even that woman for some better thing for God. So this giving up of certain things is very, very important. Very necessary. So some sort of restraint, putting small restraint on one's habits, thinking, food, everything. A little bit of restraint is very, very necessary. However small it is. Practice little bit and it will certainly help. In bigger things also, it will not be strenuous. So the question of stress, question of choice, all this will become much better. So restraint of any type is very good. So that has to be practiced in order to be successful.
Mataji, I heard a funny comment once. Someone said that with this rat race, that even if you win the race, you're still a rat.
All right, so we might move on. One more slide, please. Play our game well. In his beautiful commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Dr. Ramakrishna compares life to a game of bridge. We did not invent the game was invented for us. We did not design the cards were designed for us. We did not frame the rules were framed for us. And we cannot control even the dealing of the cards. It is random. The cards are dealt to us, and whether they are good or bad, we can play our game well or play it badly. Dr. Radhakrishnan says that sometimes the person with the bad cards could be the best player. Whatever cards they get, they know how to play. Another player may get the best cards, but plays badly. It is how we play that decides the game. Even so, our attitude to life determines whether we make a success of it or not.
Yeah, we may have all the best things for success, but still we may be unsuccessful. Depending upon how we act, how we deal, and how we use the mind. Even the action may be unsuccessful, the project may be a failure, but still you can look at it in a positive way. Well, I have learned so much from them. Then it is a success. It's not a failure. See, if you make a mistake, if you learn from that mistake, and then you can make the correction the next time, then it's not a failure, because it's a learning process. So it's how we look at it. It's an attitude. That's why it's the attitude of the mind. People with we often measure happiness in terms of material wealth, goods, material comforts. But if you look at the wealthy people, we don't see them very happy. And there are many supposed to be poor people, they are happy with simple things. So it's an attitude of the mind. Happiness is in the mind, not in the things. There's the two words, happiness and pleasure. Pleasure is in the thing, happiness is in the mind. Something gives me pleasure, but I am happy. Happiness is with me, internal, not external. So things cannot make you happy. Like that can give you some pleasure, some comfort, but not happiness. Happiness, unless you have got some control over the mind, you can never be happy. Then that my attitude of the mind decides. Even a failure can be, the right attitude can be success, because I'm learning from that. It's not a failure. Like Thomas Edison said, 99 times the electric, trying to invent the electric bulb, he failed. So somebody said, oh, 100th time he was successful. Oh, you failed 99 times. At last you became successful. He said, no, 99 times I learned. It was a learning process. You can learn from failure. It's not a failure, it's a success. Because you have gone one step forward in how to do it the right way. That's why it depends upon our mental attitude, how we look at it. And if you think that process, there is some mistake to do, some mistake has had done, correct it, and then go forward. And also we should have the faith in ourselves. I'll be able to do it. I learn and I'll be successful. But I want to try. I can. If other people can do, why can't I do? I have got the potential. That faith should be within us. Faith in ourselves. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. Faith in yourself is the greatest important. Another quotation that Swamiji, that we read this morning of today's reading. Take up an idea, think of that idea, make it part and parcel of you, and give all the other ideas away, throw away. That means concentrate on one particular idea. Put your whole heart and soul into that one idea, then you'll be able to achieve it.
So any questions, comments on this one? Pretty straightforward. We really have
Yeah, then we'll,
to have the closing prayer.
yeah, we don't have that.
Not
It's
that-
only on Friday.
yeah, we don't want to do it.
Closing prayer.
No?
No, today we have guided meditation. We just,
Okay.
Friday we have closing prayer, Sunday we have guided meditation. Or let's continue next time.
No, I know. I know what the feedback is. Struggling with feedback all through. So the announcements, we've got the yoga class on Thursday. We got a repeat of this Vedantic Book Club meeting for our Friday discussion this week. Next Sunday, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna talks by Nityappa Banerjee and Gayatri Banerjee. Following Sunday, the 22nd, we have the meditation day from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the relaxation yoga exercises conducted by Hiroko, guided meditation, talks, discussion, and walking meditation. If you're planning to come, please let us know as soon as you can. Help with the planning. And on the 29th, Sunday the 29th, we've got the first in a series of talks on the 4 yogas by Sri Darapranaji. And first one will be on Raja Yoga. Now we'll conclude with the guided meditation.